It wasn't picking up on the sound? Right, you couldn't hear me? Can you hear me now? The CMPRadio.net, man. I got Jordan here with me. She got a balloon. And we're going to get started, man. We're going to get started interviewing the people that are here. And I'm sorry. You know what we're doing down here. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find the name. Yep. Where the names at? And I'm sorry. How you doing? How you feeling? No, you said check my hair. Right. Make sure your hair is straight.
But you know, the rain and natural hair.
Right. Natural hair. Beautiful. It's Saturday, and I have the extreme pleasure of sitting down right now with Monique Curry Mims. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, I apologize. Right, and Generocity is here, so I want to know, what is Generocity? What's the idea? Because this is your business.
Yes.
Right. So what sparked the idea to come up with Generocity?
Well, what I will say is I did not necessarily come up with the idea of Generocity. Generocity has been around for 15 years.
Okay.
I just acquired it last year, so I've owned it and I've been running it for the last year, to be a year in April. Black owned.
Right.
And you know, Generocity is considered the region's social impact media leader and outlet.
Okay.
So it's really the idea that our readers are the nonprofit leaders, foundation leaders, government leaders that are putting dollars in programs into communities.
Right.
So when I acquired it, I was really thinking, like, who should people be hearing from, right? And typically before, it was really more other leaders talking about what they were doing and how they were impacting. And I really believe that they should be hearing from the community.
Absolutely.
So we're here today, and we pop up every month in a different community. And I don't want to say pop up, but we have these community newsrooms once a month in the community to let members come out to talk about the things that they care about, the issues that aren't being covered by media outlets, and the perspective and voices that are being missed, so that we know what we should be writing about and what leaders should know.
All right. So what do you hope to achieve with this pop-up newsroom, right? Who do you hope to wake up?
I mean, I'm hoping to wake up a lot of people.
Let's go.
We got time for this?
Yeah, we definitely do. We got nothing but time.
I mean, part of it is, like I said, prior to me acquiring it, it was a lot of leaders just talking about their success. And I'm like, our communities aren't better.
Right.
You know, there's some things here and there that might have been like a silver, but like we're not really doing better.
No.
So I'm hoping to wake up the minds of those leaders to really think about their solutions and where they're coming from.
Okay.
I'm from the nonprofit space. I've been an executive director for 10 years. I've been a director of development. I know that we often pop up and say, we got the solution in a community where we've never lived.
Never lived, right.
So, one, I'm hoping that I change those perspectives, but I'm also hoping that community members, I don't want to say get a voice, because they have a voice, but they share that voice.
They learn that it's valuable.
It's valuable.
Right. Very valuable.
Instead of just taking what's being given to us and just being like, it's good enough, let's move that bar and say, no, what you're doing isn't good enough, because here's what could be great.
Right, we need more.
And I have solutions, or they have solutions, but they don't have the resources. So listen to our solutions and help resource them.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So you say you pop up. What other places are you in?
So Generocity covers the 5 counties. So
Okay.
every month we're in a different county.
Wow.
So January we were in West Philadelphia. I'm in partnership with NOMO Foundation
Okay.
at their West Philadelphia location. This is a makeup from February because there was that little snowstorm.
Okay.
So Delco was February, now March.
Right.
But then at the end of March we'll be at the Norristown Library for Montco.
Let's
then
go.
it's Bucks, and we're going to keep going. And then circle back.
What has been the most challenging aspect of bringing this newsroom to fruition?
I mean, I think the most challenging aspect is Generosity has never really been a community outlet,
Okay.
right? So we're trying to build trust, and we're trying to let people know that while you might not be our readers, you're still our community.
Right.
So getting people to come out and be like, why should I come out?
Right.
This isn't really for me. It is for you.
It is for you.
It is for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How can community members get involved with the project beyond today's event?
So there's a number of ways in our stories, like Read Generosity.
Right.
And all of our stories on our website, we provide a link where people can give feedback, right? And a lot of times that feedback isn't even just feedback. It's sometimes saying, here's my perspective on what's happened. Here's my experience. Last year, we did a month around housing and what was happening with people with these crazy rents and all these things like that. And we actually had people write in and share their struggles. And we did a story called Desperately Seeking Housing, where we literally just posted what they said anonymously.
Right.
Like, here's what these people are saying. And we were able to connect people on the back end and make housing issues not necessarily go away. I'm not going to say we did it, but make connections so that people now say, like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing around this issue. Someone else says, hey, I read that. We want to connect with them.
Okay.
Like, that's what we want to be. We want to be a tool of advocacy to really make change.
Absolutely, because rent is high out there. I know rent is high. It's killing you. You going to work, you coming back, you pay your rent, and you don't have no money left for you or to do anything with your kids. So, you know, that's a big issue for me.
Yeah.
For real. So how many, what else does Generosity do? You say you bought Generosity a year ago. It wasn't in the community space.
Right.
Now it is. Do you find any pushback for what Generosity used to be as to where you want to take it and what you want it to be now?
A little bit, because it really before was a place where organizations just got to highlight themselves or talk about themselves.
Okay.
And so now we're like, that's great.
Right.
But that's not where we're really at right now. So really trying to find that balance of how do we make sure that good organizations are doing good work, are being promoted, while also focusing on the issue. We've transitioned to a solutions journalism focus, which is really looking at what solutions are, what is working, what isn't working, what limitations exist, and what other insights that we can bring in so that people who are reading it can take our stories and our news and be able to move forward with it in a positive way.
And that's exciting, man. I know it comes with a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, a whole lot of pressure, right?
Bit.
So we were in, I was in the first cohort, but you were in the second cohort, LendFest News Transformational.
Shout out to LendFest.
Right, shout out to LendFest.
This is funded by
right?
LendFest. I'm going to put that out there.
What?
We got their sustainability grant. Thank you, Sean Mooring.
Right.
We were able to get their sustainability grant last fall, and our newsroom, our community narrative specialist, all of that was through our LendFest sustainability grant.
Wow, man, that's amazing, man. The things you could do when you just network with the right people, right? I haven't really reached out to them too much because I've been trying to get myself back, right? But I'm excited to see what you're doing with this, however I can help. Right, however it can work.
However I can help.
Right. Listen, if we don't help each other, we're not helping nobody.
Not helping nobody.
Right. So cmpradio.net, Generosity. Let's figure out how we can help each other. Let's turn it into a visual newsroom. Let's get it done.
That's good.
I'm with it.
I'm good.
All right. Monique, Curry, Mims, I want to thank you for sitting down with us. I want to thank you for this idea, for bringing everybody together, man. Get down here right now. Keystone Access Center. You feel me? 9th and Flower. Here till 3 p.m., bro. Come down here and tell them exactly what you see in your community, the things you think needs to change, the things that you like, or the things that you don't like. Come down here and tell your story. It's all about changing narratives, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. CMPradio.net, man. Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, that was a great interview. Let's talk about the things that we should change, and let's talk about the things that should remain the same. If we, as a community, don't talk about the things that affect us, they will continue to affect us, right? So let's talk. Let's communicate. Let's share. Let's help. No, don't go get her. Leave her behind, right in there. Elena? I don't know. Where we at? Okay. Hutchinson.
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
So right now, we're about to sit down with Elena Hutchinson, who is a part of Generocity as well.
So I'm actually a graduate journalism student at Temple.
Oh, shit.
And Monique is, who's leading Generosity, she is our professor for our solutions journalism class. So I'm here with some of my classmates. And yeah, we're coming out today to help out, support, and talk with community members.
Wow. So you're in college right now.
Yeah. Yep.
For journalism.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a news anchor, or are you going to write reports, or where do you see yourself, right, in this mix?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's so many different ways it could go. So it's a 1-year Master of Journalism program at Temple. So really just hitting the ground running, learning all the ins and outs. And I'm hoping to be a reporter.
Right.
I definitely want to do work that's really community centered. It's important for me to, not just write about a community or a neighborhood, but to really get to know people in that area and understand issues that they're facing. So that's what I'm really looking to do. I really like multimedia journalism. I think there's so many different, there's writing, which is what we often think about with reporting, but there's video journalism, audio journalism is really growing. So I'm getting some experience in all those areas at Temple. And I'm excited to be able to apply that in my professional career.
So because you're going to get your master's, you were already in school and you already have your bachelor's?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
In journalism, right?
It was communications, and then I had a minor in journalism. So yeah, I had some background.
So you know how to run a radio station?
I don't know about that. I mean, I would love to learn. That's something I haven't had a lot of experience in. But I love radio. I think it's so important.
Right. It is.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what we do here. This is CMPradio.net, a local internet radio station for the city of Chester. But to have a journalism student sitting next to her, that's the boss over there, right? So she's gonna come to you and ask you some questions after this, right? So we can get you some internship, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what we're trying to do is come up with a newsroom. For CMP Radio, right? Not every day, but maybe on Fridays, and it just talks about the news from Monday up till Friday, right? What do you think would be the best way to go about that? Because I'm asking you questions, right? Not just about you, but about business. The best way to go about getting stories that matter to the community, right? Would it be reaching out to newspapers, or just seeing the stories firsthand and just writing on them there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I have
You got it.
The answer, but I think that I think it could be both. I think that it depends. I think I'm not super familiar with a lot of the local journalism happening here in Chester and the surrounding area, but I think partnering with what is existing, what newspapers, what news organizations exist in Chester, and being able to really work together. And if that means, like you said, maybe working with a news organization that's already reporting, and then being able to have maybe some of those reporters or community members come on and talk about the stories that they published that week, do kind of a roundup. I'm a big fan of, there's just so much news out there, and things are constantly happening, so I really like when there can be ways to make it accessible for people so that they don't have to sit and read. And I think with radio too, it's great because you can be driving to work and listen and get your news for the day.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of different ways to do that, but like you said, being able to work with community members, like what we're doing with Generosity today, coming out in the community, talking with people, asking about what they want to hear, what's going on in their community, and what they want to see, because those voices should really be informing what's reported, because ultimately that's who you're talking about in the news. So that would be my take on it.
Okay.
But you might know better than me.
No, I listen. I started this with no knowledge. I didn't go to high school. I went to high school, but I didn't go to college. I didn't further my education through it. So the experience over the last 6 years has taught me a lot, but it's a lot of things that I don't understand as far as journalism, right? How to write a story. I know how to tell a story, right? I don't have a problem being a storyteller, but journalism is different than storytelling, right? It's more of a personal feeling for storytelling. Then journalism is more of a facts, and I just want to make sure I'm pushing. I don't want to put no fake news out there. Shout out, right. I don't want to put no fake news out there. I want to put the real stories out there, and I want to make sure they hit our community in places it needs to be hit, right?
Yeah,
so when as a journalism student, have you found that telling stories with love is profitable versus just telling the stories? What is it? If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
That I think they changed that, didn't they?
I think that there's still a lot of problematic reporting. That's something that we've learned a lot about at Temple. Some of the history, especially with that slogan and why that is. And I think that's also a societal question. We have to ask. So why do people want to see this pain?
Right.
And I think that that's changing, and I think there's a lot of really important things. For example, like the Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting. That's an organization that works with journalists, community members, and partners with different newsrooms to really address that issue, to make sure that when we're talking about these issues like gun violence, it's in a way that is, looking towards solutions, and that's not harming the people who are reading and seeing those stories and who are most affected by the issue, and bringing them into the conversation. I think that the work they're doing is really important. I think there's some other great organizations and journalists who want to change these harmful narratives that have really been a part of the news industry for a long time. So I'm glad you asked that question, because that's something that we've talked a lot about at Temple and with some of the reporters who have come in and talked to us. That's definitely a huge problem. I certainly, as an aspiring professional reporter, don't want to contribute to that. I'd like to contribute to the solutions to that and have really community. That's, again, it goes back to being community-centered and being really just being able to connect with people. And I think that's the biggest thing, and to be able to be, because ultimately journalism and news should be a resource for the community. It should help and not harm. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of harmful reporting, and that's something that I think we need to address. I think it'll take time, but I'm excited to see those conversations and action starting to happen, and I think Philadelphia is a really kind of leading the way in that in a lot of ways. So.
Absolutely. But LenFest and the different organizations that are in Philly, changing the way that news is given or the way the stories are told, right? It's important, right? So, I'm super excited. Your dream job. Give me your dream job, right? Right
That's
now.
always the question.
Right.
I think I would really like to. This isn't going to be a straightforward answer, because I'm open to a variety of opportunities. I think as I'm exploring what that looks like right now, but I would really like to be able to bring those journalism, reporting skills that I'm developing with writing, video, audio journalism, the experience I'm gaining reporting, community relationships I'm building in the community, and to be able to apply that to a reporting role at a local news organization. I definitely really want to be focused on local news, what's happening in the city, whether that's here in Philly or if that takes me to another city. But I've really enjoyed, my time in Philly and getting to know the community. I think being a reporter and being able to focus on the issues, like you mentioned, that I think are so important to our community, housing, healthcare, just income inequality. I think those are things that I really care about and would like to lend my reporting to. Those are the stories I would like to tell. So I don't know if that's not really a one role that I've described, but that if there's a job that has all those elements, that would be my dream job at this point.
Awesome. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So I'd like to thank you for stopping through, and talking to us. Is there anything you want to tell the people that are watching right now?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I have anything. I guess just thank you for listening. Thank you for having me. I think
Absolutely.
this is great what you're doing, and I'm excited to stay tuned. And
Absolutely.
follow
Thank you.
more. Thank you so much. Thank
No
you
problem.
for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. CMPradio.net, man. You already know it's your boy Uncle P. Oh man, listen, this is a great situation taking place right now, right? It's awesome, man. Like, we want to make sure that everyone understands how important it is to control your narrative, right? To change the way that people look at you without changing the way you behave, right? For time, there was no hope. We're giving hope back to our community, right? So come on down here, man. Get down here. Keystone Access Center, man. You already know where we are. You already know what we do. The CMPradio.net, man. Who we talking to next? Queen? No? Okay. You can't do the mic. You're not gonna be able to hear anything. Right. Jordan. All right. Gotcha. CMPradio.net, you already know, man. It's the radio station. I love y'all. Be safe.